Witnessing political foes turn allies, making the political landscape even more steeper. It was in June this year when Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka vowed never to support ODM leader Raila Odinga again in a presidential race, a promise that marked the beginning of the end of their political relationship. However, it's that call by Kalonzo Musyoka inviting Raila Odinga to his party national delegate conference that has reincarnated a dead relationship. Could the One Kenya Alliance be opening doors for an extra party, or will Raila Odinga be seeking the backing of Kalonzo Musyoka for the third time? We ask you, should Kalonzo Musyoka support Raila Odinga in 2022? Should Kalonzo Musyoka support Raila Odinga in 2022? SMS us on 111 444 111 at Switch TV Kenya at Fred Mutiriri on Twitter. Welcome. My name is Frederick Mutiriri. My sign language interpreters are Tracy Dorcas and Teresia Waishira, and you're watching The Tipping Point.
We support Raila Amolo Odinga for the third time. I would rather go to Sekuru, my friend.
Nilikuwa nimealikwa na ndugu yangu Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. Raila na Kalonzo ni mandugu.
OCA and Mount Kenya Unit Forum have started a journey.
We belong to Kenya and none of us can do it alone.
Sasa wewe Martha Koome, wachana na mambo ya siasa.
We are required by our constitution to collaborate and coordinate our affairs.
And to have this special State of the Nation discussion, we are joined by the Secretary General of ANC Party, Simon Gikuru. We also have political analyst and communication strategist Mark Bichachi, and finally we are joined by Ruth Ambogo, a youth policy analyst. And my guest tonight, let's start here in studio. Simon, karibu sana to our studios once again.
Thank you, Frederick. Good evening, viewers.
We start with what we've just seen today at Wiper National Delegate Conference. What do you make of it? Your party leader was there. Were you there yourself?
I passed by. I had quite a busy day in Muranga where we were meeting some of our delegates. But as a matter of showing solidarity with our OCA partners, I had to pass by and witness the Wiper's big day.
There were sentiments in the morning that Musalia Mudavadi, your party leader, was not happy with Kalonzo Musyoka inviting Raila Odinga today. Are those sentiments true?
Well, you see, Frederick, we are in a very interesting political season, whereby as we approach the August D-Day, the election day, we expect a lot of political movement. We expect to see a lot of coalition talks, people coming together, people living, and that is the political we are in. As to how our party perceived the invitation of former Prime Minister is also a political issue. How? You see, our feeling as the ANC is that we are in OCA because we feel that our ideals and ideologies at some point are converging so that we can seek the mandate of Kenyans to take over government and serve them. So when you invite our competitor into your NDC, and this is a competitor who is trying everything, right, left and center, to find their way or force their way into the house, then it raises a lot of questions. That was Wiper's NDC. We had no control over it. What I can tell you is this. We are going to do our NDC in a few weeks' time. We are not going to invite Right Honorable Prime Minister. I'm actually a co-chair of the committee that is organizing our NDC. And we are going to invite all our other OCA partners. But what we are saying, we don't have a deal yet with the former Prime Minister. We are not willing to support him for another time. We are not going to invite him. My party leader.
Why? Hold still, because I want to ask you why you will not invite him in just a minute. Ruth, you've heard what Simon is saying here. Are you in agreement that they shouldn't have, the Wiper Party shouldn't have invited Raila Odinga because he is a competitor?
Well, first of all, I am very surprised at the attitude ANC has. It goes against the name of ANC itself, which is Amani National Congress. they seem to have chosen violence, as young people would put it today, that they have chosen violence in the sense that they are saying they're even feeling bad that Kalonzo Musyoka invited Raila Odinga, and yet one of their Oka partners, Gideon Moi, recently held an NDC at Bomas of Kenya, and they actually invited Raila Odinga. We are in a season where politics is very transient, that you don't know what will happen today, you don't know what will happen tomorrow, you don't know who will be partners with who today, you don't know who will change their minds tomorrow. So when we start seeing strong negative, because this is very negative coming from the Secretary General of ANC, very strong negative statements like those, we wonder whether Musalia Mudavadi is a man that can actually be termed as a statesman, because statesmanship calls for stepping down on your hardliners, and when you have a moment like an NDC, such as what Kalonzo Musyoka did, invite friends, you know, over and above politics. Raila Odinga and Kalonzo Musyoka are long-time friends, and maybe I would understand why ANC would behave the way it is behaving, because Kalonzo Musyoka has been running with Raila Odinga for quite some time now, and I would not be surprised if ANC, in the spirit of violence, they would decide to now say that, you know, they don't want anything to do with the Kalonzo Musyoka, and that would expose the leader as somebody who does not have as the spirit of working together with other people, is not ready to negotiate with others, because politics is about, no offense at this point, especially at the level of the presidential campaigns, politics is about negotiation. It's about finding a line that would suit all partners, or finding a line that will suit partners that are interested in clinching power. And in terms of negotiation, the hardliners that ANC is now presenting, to be honest, will work against them in the near future, and they will regret why they have been presenting such hard stances that will not serve their interests. In case people get to the point where they're saying, for instance, we are forming, let's say, a grand coalition, where will that leave ANC? Where will that leave Musalia Mudavadi? And what if, just what if, Frederick, all these partners that they are talking about being in Oka decide to join Raila Odinga? Where will that leave Musalia Mudavadi? That's the question I have.
Okay, Ruth. Let's just bring in, because we have not brought him in, let's bring in Mark Bichachi. I know Simon is ready to speak, and he wanted to just counter that immediately, but let's bring in Mark. Mark, we have seen not once, not twice, Musalia Mudavadi saying that he's being arm-twisted to support Raila Odinga. Is this a case in what Simon is saying here in studio?
Well, you know, let me be very pragmatic and analyze this situation as it should. I've said on this station before, times above number, that for you to be considered a serious presidential candidate, you must look for a number of things within your war chest to then consider yourself serious. Number one, in this country, you must have a tribal base. William Ruto has the central rift, lock, stock, and barrel. One Raila Amolo Odinga has Luo Nyanza, parts of Kisii, parts of Western, parts of the coast locked completely. You've got Kalonzo Musyoka, who's been a Kangba kingpin times above measure. Then you've got Musalia Mudavadi, who has got to count 480,000 votes among the Luhya. Then you've got to move the question of how charismatic are you. There is no question that Agwambo Baba, as you call him, has the ability to move crowds, and he's done so times above number. The same can be said of William Ruto. Wherever he goes, people will go to see him. You've got to ask yourself, as the other politicians, are you a crowd puller? Are you charismatic? Are you the kind of person who makes a Kenyan pause and think? But third, resources. William Ruto has shown he's got the resources to mobilize and move across the country. Of course, he's also the deputy president, so he's got vast resources available to him. You've got Raila Odinga, who obviously also has resources. The rest, do they have the resources to do this? Therefore, the pragmatic answer that one Kenyan has to ask themselves, do they have enough fuel in their tank to run the full gauntlet? or they're deluding themselves. So this has nothing to do about who you support. This has everything to do with the fact that you have the resources to get where you're going. And if you are not, then I give you free advice. Let me finish. I'm finishing in 10 seconds. I give you free advice that if you want to go far, go with people. If you want to go quickly, go alone. But if you want to go quickly and alone, my friend, your stomach must be full. And for one Kenya, I must tell you, your tank is reading empty.
Quite interesting views there from my colleagues.
Now, the bigger question is, are you ready to walk alone?
Well,
will you make it to August 2022?
I want to say the following on national TV.
Yes.
Number one, when it comes to issues of politicking and collating, as a party, we've already taken our position. And listening to Ruth, who recently just ran away from us because she has been a member of the ANC, and I think she feared to be subjected to nominations. She's running for women rep somewhere, and she felt maybe she didn't have enough gas. And
I am sure she'll be answering that in a short while.
And when you listen to Ruth,
yes.
Ruth is talking about what if. We are not talking about what if. And 2020, if you look at what is at stake in 2022, we cannot start saying what if this happens, what if this happens. I can tell you on national TV, we are going all the way to the ballot. And we are ready. We have the resources. We have the goodwill of Kenyans. We have the capacity. And we are presenting the best candidate. If you look previously in our history, and you look at how Mwai Kibaki became president, Mwai Kibaki may not have been the best orator. Mwai Kibaki may not have been the most loud and proud, or rather crowd puller. So when someone talks about pulling crowds, these are cosmetic considerations. What we have in place are serious issues about our lives and about our future. Young people need employment. These nations need to be united. We are talking about revamping our economy. Then you come here and you are saying pulling crowds are here, talking about giving us free advice. We don't need free advice. We have extremely serious technical team that is giving us advice. So what I want to tell Kenyans today, Musalia Mudavadi is in Oka. And whether with Oka partners or without Oka partners, he is going to be on the ballot. And that is why, if you are very keen on the recent political movements, you will notice tables have started to turn. We are not apologetic that we are going to be on the ballot. We are not going to attend, for example, we are not going to attend the ODM NDC. We are not going to attend the one for Jubilee. And we are not apologetic. And we are not guessing. We are not saying what if. We are saying we are giving Kenyans a reputable leader. And I want to talk and I want to address young people watching us today. Are you telling me that you don't want to use your logic, that you want to be moved by what is being called the pulling of crowds, the euphoria? 2022 cannot be about euphoria. We voted for Jubilee because of the euphoria they created around the ICC. What have they done for the young people? A minute, Frederick.
Yes.
We want young people to use logic. Evaluate all these leaders. Look at their past. Look at their history. Who can we trust? Some of these people have been accused of deficit of trust.
Hold still. Mark Bichachi has alluded that the last time Musalia Mudavadi was at the ballot, he garnered 400,000 votes. What is he going to amass this time?
You see, my
from
friends,
your projection, because I'm sure you've done the projections.
See, my friends, I have had a chance. I come from Central Kenya. I'm from Murang'a County. I have had a chance to tour almost all the 5 or so counties in Western Kenya. I've been to Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Trans Nzoia, Busia. I can tell you without blinking my eye, what the Mulembe nation wants is just to see Musalia Mudavadi on the ballot.
Hold still.
If you talked across Kenyans, if across the board, Musalia Mudavadi is acceptable across the board. And I'm not saying this because I'm the SG. I'm not saying this because I'm in ENC. I'm saying this because I care about my future. I care about other young people's future. And the only person that can guarantee our future is a leader, not just a politician. This country has now to grow beyond politics, beyond euphoria, beyond what people are saying, pulling crowds and talking vitendawili.
All right, Simon.
On the podium.
All right, Simon. Let's give chance to...
We want leadership.
Okay. Let's give chance to Ruth. Ruth, you heard what Simon is saying here, that ANC is not going to attend the ODM NDC. What do you hear from Simon? What is he saying? That ODM and ANC will never work again together. What do you hear here?
Okay, first of all, allow me to first respond to the allegations that he has said that I feared nominations. He knows very well what happened in his political party, which I will insist today, and I will proudly speak on national TV and say is a village party. A party that is run by all members, the top leadership of that party all come from the same village called Busali Ward. So how can a party whose leadership has the top leadership of the party is all people from one singular ward, a ward where Musalia Mudavadi comes from? That is a village party, and until they continue, they change their leadership structure and include more national faces, we will still consider them as a village party. And secondly, if he's saying I fear nominations, and yet I was one of the people who actually led them to winning the Matungu by-elections, I wonder what kind of nominations he's saying I feared. In fact, one of the things that ANC should change about its party before they even tell us about national politics is the manner in which they handle aspirants within their political party. I promise you, Frederick, had I not left ANC, today I would probably be 6 feet under, because the kind of politics that is played at ANC political party is not politics that is desirable even for young people. And as we speak right now, I tell you, ever since I left and went back to ODM, the original party, the largest party in this country, I can promise you that there's so many young people that are now moving with me and leaving the party that is called ANC to join ODM. That alone should tell him something as a Secretary General. Now, moving to them saying that they will not attend ODM's NDC. Let me tell you something, it does not concern Raila Odinga that they will not attend. It does not concern the country that they will not attend. And there's something fallacious that he has said that, because we voted for, that the country voted for Uhuru Kenyatta based on euphoria, but what have they delivered for the young people? I am here to tell Simon Gikuru that if he's not aware, the government has done so much for the young people of this country. First of all, the projects that I will just mention, for instance, during COVID, the kind of projects that the government put in place to be able to assist young people who are struggling with their businesses cannot even be mentioned. The number of projects that the government has put in place for young people in business, young people, even at the university level, the number of projects the government has put in place for young people across the country are projects that if I start mentioning today, the show shall remain a show about the youth. So I will save that for a coffee conversation between me and Simon Gikuru, but jump into the main issue and tell him that it is a sign of them saying they will not attend ODM's NDC despite the fact that they will be invited is a sign of people who are not willing to work together with others, leaders who are not willing to work together with others, because at the end of the day, politics over and above competition is about friendship. These people have been friends with each other for many years. I will remind Simon Gikuru, even at the loss of Musalia Mudavadi's mom, Raila Odinga showed up and massively contributed towards the affairs of Musalia Mudavadi's mom. So these people are people who are friends, and he might be surprised that he would think he's speaking on behalf of the party.
Allow me to ask you this question, Ruth. Allow me to ask you, but can't Musalia Mudavadi has supported Raila Odinga severally? Can't he just for once just give the hand back and say, you know what, you've supported me before, I can support you this time? What must Raila Odinga be supported by Musalia Mudavadi every other time?
Raila Odinga doesn't have to be supported by Musalia Mudavadi, but what we are talking about is the invitation for the NDC. And the other thing that we need to realize is this: until Raila Odinga reaches or meets his personal goals as an individual, or his goals for the nation as an individual and as a political party, there's no way you will expect him to set aside his goals and support Musalia Mudavadi. Remember that their support has always been based, their agreements in the past have always been based on the fact that they say that if I get it, I will then support you for it next time. So if I have not gotten it, why should I support you? And yet I myself haven't gotten it. So let everybody, if they want to all go to the field I genuinely support Musalia Mudavadi being on the ballot.
Okay.
Let him be on the ballot and realize that at the end of the day,
Yes.
in as much as he thinks that the country needs rhetorics on development, the country also needs a leader who is inspiring. And as of now, he is nothing short of lack of inspiration.
Ruth, wow, Ruth. Mark, there's something here Simon has said, that Musalia Mudavadi, and you had asked this, if they have what it takes to go all the way. And Simon is saying they are going all the way to the ballot. The other thing is saying that the crowds that you guys are talking about are just cosmetics. What are you reading here? Are you reading of a person or of a party that has decided this time round we are going to do it no matter what, and growing, you know, I do not want to mention the words.
I must congratulate the Secretary General for doing his job, which is selling things which he himself does not believe in. The reason I say this is when you say that Mike Kibaki lacked charisma and he still made it, you forget that he had a retinue of leaders in his bag. He had Wamalwa Kijana, who works more lyrical than Shakespeare himself. He had Raila Odinga, who single-handedly carried that campaign. But also the Secretary General tells us that Mudavadi is a shining star in the sky, that everyone should bow to him. I will remind him that Kenya has only experienced negative growth outside of a pandemic situation once. That is when Musalia Mudavadi, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, and Kamlesh Patni decided to create a new form of economy called golden bag. So if we are to talk about the history of people, those who live in glass houses should be careful not to throw stones. I am not anti-Mudavadi. I am not pro-Raila. I am simply doing analysis. So let me continue that analysis and say this. It is delusional. Indeed, it is self-defeatist to say that Mudavadi has enough support to win an election. I will tell you, to be on the ballot in this country, you just need a few thousand people to sign a document and pay 200,000 fees to IEBC. You'll be on the ballot, no problem. What impact being on the ballot will be is the question. I'm telling you for free. One Kenya has to seriously sit down and decide whether it's throwing its hat in with Raila Odinga or with William Ruto, because the net result will be that after they lose the election, and I assure you they will lose, if they run, even if they run together and then finish the squabbles between Kalonzo and Mudavadi, who's older, who's more handsome, who's more senior, you know, those questions they ask themselves. By the time they're done and they lose, how will Kenya be better if they come out number 3? If they're also hoping for a runoff so that they can negotiate for positions, it's the same thing you would do now. Why would you wait 3-4 a whole year to negotiate for the same thing? If you want to be deputy speaker, just say you want to be deputy speaker. My advice to them is for free. Number one, bad things when good people sit around and do nothing. One, Kenya has a lot of good people, but they're busy fighting over air, over hot air. It's complete nonsense. If you listen to the argument of the Secretary General, he's not told us other than, I have supported Raila. Listen, I've supported my father all my life. I'm in my 30s. He will forever be my father.
Mark, we need to take a break.
Surely.
Yes.
When will Raila be their junior?
Okay, we need to take a break. We need to take a break. We are taking a short commercial break. Well, it's getting hot inside here. We'll be back with ANC Party Secretary General Simon. And Simon wanted to speak back to Bichachi, so I'll give you the chance after this commercial break. We'll be back with more in a short while. Don't go anywhere. All right, our question of the day: should Kalonzo Musyoka support Raila Odinga in 2022? Should Kalonzo Musyoka support Raila Odinga in 2022? Talk to us via SMS line, that is on 111 444 111, or at Switch TV Kenya at Fred Muitididi on Twitter. We are back with our guest tonight. I have none other than Simon Gikuru, who is the ANC Secretary General, Mark Bichachi, political commentator and communication strategist, and of course Ruth Ambogo, youth policy analyst. And we're back with you, Simon. And Simon, we had a conversation, deep conversation in the first half of this show, where Ruth is accusing ANC to be a village party, and Mark Bichachi has said categorically that ANC cannot win the elections. What do you have to say?
Very interesting comments from those two. To start with, I would say that Mark impresses me as a very good orator. And I saw in the poster that he's an analyst. But you can clearly see that first and foremost, he's a hired gun. He claims to be an arbiter, or rather an unaffiliated analyst. But clearly you can see he's a Raila champion, he's a hired gun. And he's giving a lot of free advice. Come on, who needs your free advice, Mark? You just do your analysis, brother. If Raila has not won elections for the last, how many, 4 or 5 times, what makes him think he can win in 2022? Especially when he doesn't have the support of his Oka principals who are formerly in NASA. So really, this is an issue of numbers. It's not an issue of speaking a lot of English and a lot of huge, humongous words. It's simple, 1 + 1. And we are saying we have the numbers. We have done our calculations. We are seeking partners. And I want you people to understand, and the viewers to understand what we are saying.
Numbers, tell us about those numbers.
As a party, we are seeking partners. Already we are in Oka. And get me right, in Oka or outside Oka, we are getting partners that are going to work with us this journey. Listening to Ruth, ANC is in every village. If you go to my village in Kiharo in Mbiri, the party is there. If you go to whatever village she said, the party is there. So it is true. It's a party in every village. So I find nothing wrong with saying ANC is a village party. We are in every village in this republic. And most especially,
you are coining. You're coining Howard. She said it's a village party, meaning it's a small party.
Frederick,
yes.
I'm the Secretary General of the party.
Yes.
I'm from Murang'a County. We have 5 deputy party leaders. Captain Yare from Garissa. Tandaza MP from Kwale. We have Ongoro from Nyanza. We have Timame from Lamu, former governor of Lamu. I mean, unless we are saying Kenya is a village, which is okay. If Kenya is a village, indeed you are a village party, because we are in every corner in this republic. So, what I wanted to tell Ruth, because I hear her saying that she helped the party in Matungu and all that, she just wore a luminous green dress, jumped on top of our trucks, doing nothing, not even holding the mic. How did you help us in Matungu when all you did is to put our cape and a luminous green dress and drive on top of the truck?
You guys are exchanging bugs. So hold still.
What I want to say is this. What I want to say is this. We are facing a very serious political season, where we have to define our future, where we have to define the future of our children.
Yes.
And we cannot afford to analyze. If Muchichi Mark says he's an analyst and he's talking about who is handsome, who is tall, come on, Mark, you can do better than that. We are looking at who can we trust, not who is handsome and who is tall or short. So please, your analysis impresses me as quite shallow.
Oops. Okay. This is what Oka had to say earlier this week or earlier today.
Think together, talk together, and act together. Oka and Mount Kenya Unit Forum have started a journey of moving together, and we have had a very fruitful meeting this morning, and more meetings will follow, and we only can urge Kenyans to watch this space.
We came together to explore possibilities of working together. We belong to Kenya, and none of us can do it alone. So that's what today's meeting is all about.
I can't hold myself in studio today. All right, Mark, let me start with you. And I would want you to just answer our brother here, Simon. But we can go to a different conversation. You've seen, Mark, you've seen this week, Martha Karua coming together with Musalia Mudavadi and the team, the OKA team. Is there a possibility of having Martha Karua and Musalia Mudavadi ticket? And we'll be asking you to Simon. Mark?
Let me start answer Simon first. My name is Mark Bichachi, it's not Muchichi. Secondly, the conversation between Kalonzo Musyoka and One Mudavadi is a matter of public knowledge. They are about security, they are arguing about age. It is not me who's arguing about age. And then let me give you advice, because you seem to be younger than me. When you are in a debate, you don't attack people personally. Okay, whether we use big words or not, we talk about facts. You know, when you say that Mudavadi has support and you've done your numbers, TIFA did a research, okay, and they gave us numbers. If you have similar numbers, share with us. It is not the loudness of your voice that is going to convince Kenyans to vote for you. And why it is free advice is, I will tell you something that a statement we have in our trade. Please do not drink your own Kool-Aid. Do not buy your own PR, my friend. You must take information as it is given to you. It is not personal. I don't know you. You understand? I'm giving you what is my honest analysis. How you are offended by information, I do not understand. And I've not once mentioned you or insulted you. So let's keep the level of our conversation at that level, and let's have civilized decorum. Tafadhali. Now moving forward, Martha Karua is shaping herself to be the spokesperson of this Mount Kenya Unity Forum. I think it is a clever move for her because it opens a number of options for her. Number one, you mentioned one, Mudavadi's running mate. It's a possibility. Raila Odinga has also been touted that maybe she can be his running mate. William Ruto, the same thing. So she's positioning herself to be the person who can really decide where it goes. But let's be clear that if you look at Mount Kenya politics today, there are very few politicians who can fill the shoes of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Martha Karua has potential. Munya has some potential to pacify the other side of the mountain. And you've got Kafogo. Those are the guys who seem to have the charisma and the temerity to go the whole gauntlet. So the question really is who will inherit Mount Kenya and then therefore deliver those votes either to Raila Odinga or William Ruto, or if there is a third force. These are the questions that you've got to ask yourself. Now, Martha Karua's rising star is something that she's worked on, but I will give a very simple warning that if she does not get the blessing and the passing of the mantle from Uhuru Kenyatta, she might struggle in filling those shoes and therefore could become irrelevant in being a running mate. But the other question is, does she want to be a deputy president or a governor? That is the golden question, because it seems between Ngirishi, Waiguru and Martha, it is any game.
Mark,
yes.
why would that be the case, that if you must have the blessings of the president, why can't she just go alone without the blessings of the president? Why would that be so important?
Because that is not how human psychology works. Remember, when Michuki came out and said after the Limuru conference and said the person who's going to carry the mantle for the mountain is going to be Uhuru Kenyatta with the blessing of one Mwai Kibaki. Why is this the case? It is the case because Uhuru Kenyatta has done something for the people of the mountain, and they will look for him to give direction. That's just how it is. Unless they want to fight it out, it will be more difficult to do a fight out for this one.
This conversation about Martha Karua and of course you are from ODM, but this conversation between Martha Karua and Musalia Mudavadi, can the duo be what some Kenyans are saying? We need a third option because we have, as it is right now, Raila Odinga, we have the OKA team, and of course we have William Ruto. Can Martha Karua and Musalia Mudavadi duo win the elections?
Well, one thing that we need to look at is the numbers that Martha Karua controls. Does Martha Karua control any real numbers in central Kenya? That's the big question. The real question is that does she control any real numbers other than just being a personality? Because if she's just but a personality, then there's no difference between her and, for instance, Equity, James Mwangi of Equity Bank, or between her and for instance, the late Chris Kirubi. They are all just great personalities from central Kenya that do not control any real votes per se. And that is why, for me, I think Martha Karua's long game, and I would want to agree with Mark Bichachi to some extent, is to actually just become governor. She's just building herself up to become governor. And I'm telling you, if ANC for now, at this particular point gets excited thinking that Martha Karua will be their running mate, they will be in for a rude shock, because at the end of the day, Martha Karua is a political animal who understands that at the end of the day, what works is, do you have the numbers? In Kirinyaga, she does have numbers, but does she have numbers in the rest of central Kenya? Not forgetting that people still associate her. The rest of the country still remembers her role, the role that she played in during Kibaki's second term, when Kibaki was being sworn in 2007. So how will she be able to convince? Because remember, at the end of the day, when you're getting a running mate, you almost need somebody who can give you 50% of the votes that you're looking for. Can she marshal up votes over and above central Kenya? And not forgetting that central Kenya is already being split in the middle as we speak right now. We have central Kenya that supports William Ruto strongly. We have a central Kenya that is now moving towards Raila Odinga in a massive way. But then is Martha Karua really at a position where she can say she can control, for instance, a third of the mountain? Now that we can have, let's say, for example, is she in a position to control a third as Raila controls a third, as William Ruto controls a third? And my answer to this question at this particular point is that she does not. She's still building her profile. She's still reviving herself as a politician. Her own political party does not even have the requisite numbers you can talk about and say it's a political party with a huge following. So Martha Karua is just playing a long game, and she knows that if she walks into a negotiating table with Musalia Mudavadi, even if she's not negotiating to become the deputy president, she raises her stakes. So my advice to ANC would be this: do not be overexcited by Martha Karua's involvement. Do your own work. And in fact, one thing that disappointed me about Musalia Mudavadi, that led to me, the reasons that led to me walking out of ANC, was the fact that Musalia Mudavadi did not think about consolidating, first of all, the Western Region bloc. As it stands right now, the Western Region bloc is divided in a very large, it is divided right in between. And in fact, I will not be surprised, and this is a statement I'm making on this station, and we can confirm on 9th of August 2022. Do not be surprised if Vihiga County itself, where Musalia Mudavadi comes from, shall produce an ODM governor, an ODM woman representative, an ODM senator, and 2 or 3 ODM MPs out of the 5 positions of MPs that are there in Vihiga County. So if Vihiga County itself has defeated Musalia Mudavadi to consolidate, because the candidates that are strong right now are ODM candidates, how is he promising that he has the Western Region bloc? And how does he think that Martha Karua, who only controls Kirinyaga County, will be able to help him get all the votes that he needs in central Kenya?
All right, let's bring in Simon. Simon, the ball is in your court. This week we saw Martha Karua, big deal, and leading Mount Kenya Forum, of course, with the likes of Kina Kabogo. Are we going to see a ticket that will be Musalia Martha Karua ticket, because it's your party?
Yeah, thank you very, very much, Frederick. A lot of free advice today from my colleagues. And I'll first desist.
That's why they are political commentators.
Of course, and that is why I'm going to desist from responding to Mark's first part of his comments, because my opinion will not have changed much anyway on what he had said earlier. But coming to the issue of Martha Karua, I have listened to Ruth, and maybe I would also want to give some advice also to Ruth, that in Kibaki's government, Martha Karua impressed her kinsmen as a man in a woman's body. She fought for Kibaki. She defended the Kibaki administration. And actually, we actually call her Jamba. Jamba, which means a heroine. Because Martha Karua stood, defended that administration, defended the government, and that is how she won the hearts and support of majority of people in Mount Kenya. So Martha Karua is not your any other politician that you want to say that she only has some support, pockets of support in Kirinyaga, because she's a figure, she's a political figure that presents hope for the Kikuyu nation. And when you see Martha Karua you see the hope of our young people, the hope of the future of the
young people, but she's not young though.
I'm telling you, because she's an inspiration. Young people want inspiration. This is a person who stood up against, if you remember then, Mwai Kibaki's government almost went under, but she stood, and we had the Michukis and the rest, but for some reason, there was some sort of giving up.
She was the justice minister anyway.
That's the point, that even the fact that Kibaki had given her that ministry, it shows that she's up to the task. So we are having now preliminary talks with one, or what we call Mount Kenya Unity Forum. And I may not be in a position to give a lot of details on TV because we've not confirmed a lot of issues. We need to tie them up. But what I would say is
are we going to see a ticket?
We welcome the talks. We look forward to seeing even more people joining and coming in. And as I said at the beginning of this show, tables are going to turn. And let people not think that anybody is late, or that, oh, you know, Ruth keeps saying that Musalia is not inspiring her and all that, you know, because the political season is still young. We still have a whole 9 months to go. And I can tell you, Kenyans are known historically to make their decision in the last 4 or 5 months towards the general election. If you look at PNU was formed 3 months to the elections. The coalition between TNA and URP was also done some 4 months to the election. Are you together? So what we are saying is that we are not just seated doing nothing.
But have you decided completely that you're not going to work with ODM in any way?
Of course not. What if tomorrow Right Honorable Odinga comes up and says, hey, you know what? I'm supporting Musalia Mudavadi, Musalia Tosha. Would we say that we will not work with him? All we are saying is, this time round, we are not going to support him. Let us also meet at the ballot. And I don't see anything wrong with that. We have not said we will not work with him. As a matter of fact, our position as a party, we have a lot of respect for Right Honorable Odinga because he's a statesman of his own kind. If you look at the sacrifices he has made for this nation, anybody will tell you that he's a true statesman. But all we are saying, his best days are behind him. He's not offering anything into the future.
I don't believe Ruth. Let me bring in Ruth.
Telling us how he was imprisoned, which is okay, we understand. How he has suffered, which is okay, we understand. But going into the future, he doesn't have much to offer.
Ruth, let me bring in Ruth. Ruth, do you think Raila Odinga has nothing more to offer to Kenyans because the best days, as Simon is saying, are behind him?
In fact, let me tell you something, Frederick. Raila Odinga has now everything he has been building, he has been working for, he has been advocating for to offer right now. Because now, if you listen closely to the Azimio la Umoja forums that Raila Odinga has been attending, Raila Odinga, for the first time in his political career, has been offering real issues to real problems. I wonder where Oka has been all this time round, because one thing that sets aside Raila Odinga from Musalia Mudavadi and would make me say that Musalia is not ready for presidency right now, especially in 2022, is the fact that both of these two statesmen have held positions of leadership in the past. But when you try to compare the amount of the impact that they've had in terms of their positions of influence, then Raila Odinga outsmarts all of them. And that is why he's saying this is his time. Remember, the country right now is saying that it is a Mandela moment for Raila Odinga. And what is a Mandela moment? It's not just a moment for us to say we are rewarding somebody a position of leadership. It is a moment for us to say this is a man who has worked, first of all, for the freedom of this country. He has fought and laid his life down for the freedom of for the rights that we enjoy as a people as we speak today. And when he held positions of leadership such as Prime Minister, he came up with revolutionary projects and programs that, of course, his political opponents were trying to paint in negative light, but have now since come out and said that it was only for politics, optics, that they had to oppose Raila Odinga. We've seen the mountain coming out and saying, indeed, the times when they called him Mutu wa Mtendawili, Muganga, they were under instructions from their political leaders or from their kingpins. But now we are seeing a change of tune where they're saying, indeed, it is difficult for you to come stand up and say that Raila Odinga has done nothing for the country. And it is in that spirit that we are saying that time now to offer the solutions that he's been giving out there. You know, he has been on the opposition for a while. And much as people want to make fun of opposition, opposition is what has kept the country stable for this long period of time that we've had opposition. If you realize that when Raila Odinga joined government and shook hands, there was a bit of silence on issues affecting the country. And that alone should tell you the vacuum that
All
he
right.
created when he went to join Uhuru Kenyatta. And that in itself should tell you the amount of
Ruth,
power that he holds
Ruth,
and what he can.
I want to ask you, there is a question I want to ask you. What does it mean for Deputy President William Ruto and Raila Odinga if Musalia Mudavadi is going straight to the ballot, say with Martha Karua? What does it mean for your votes in Western Kenya?
Well, one thing that I will say is that Western Kenya for now, and I will still refer to what I've just said in a few minutes back, that the biggest mistake that Musalia Mudavadi made was in failing to consolidate Western first before he presented himself to other parts of the country. Remember that when you look at William Ruto and Raila Odinga, William has solidly locked Rift Valley to himself, and nobody can walk in there and claim that, oh, they will get 60% of the vote, and 30%, or even 2% of the vote. The most Raila Odinga can get in Rift Valley in places where there are cosmopolitan towns is maybe 10%, 5%. But for Musalia Mudavadi, look at Kakamega. Kakamega, where we have Opanya, has a huge influence, in as much as Cleophas Malala is there doing a commendable job. We still have the governor who has been doing a good job in terms of mobilizing for Raila Odinga. Look at Vihiga County, a county where the governor is an ODM member, yet that is the county where the presidential candidate for the Western region comes from. That alone should concern you. Look at Busia County. Busia County is purely ODM. And look at Bungoma County. Bungoma County is maybe Ford Kenya, a bit of Ford Kenya here and there. But what I'm trying to say is that when you look at the Western region vote, it has already been split between ODM and Musalia Mudavadi. And the more Raila does as Azimio la Umoja, the more he cuts the cake of Western. And even William Ruto has been making some inroads in Western. So what does it mean for Raila Odinga and William Ruto? It means nothing significant. It means very little of the vote that Raila will get, that Raila will miss from Western.
I hear you.
Very little of the vote that William Ruto has nothing to worry about.
Simon.
Yes.
You've heard Ruth, and she has dismissed the fact that Musalia Mudavadi has any did not consolidate votes in Western Bloc. Does it concern you that you don't have all votes in the Western Bloc, like, you know, Raila Odinga in Luo Nyanza, William Ruto, Central Rift, and most parts of Central Kenya?
First and foremost, I want to comment on the issue of a Mandela moment that she's trying to allude to. This is Kenya, this is not South Africa, and if anything, we want to have a Kibaki moment. So, hiyo maneno ya Mandela moment, it's not for here, that is for Johannesburg. What we want to see is a resuscitated economy, and we are saying a Kibaki moment. Now, when you talk of the fact that Raila Odinga outsmarts all the others, of course, yes, he outmaneuvers them. He's known. He beats them when it comes to violence.
And you'll put together your closing remarks.
Yes,
I'm being told that.
Yes, he beats them in violence.
Yes.
He beats them in political arm twisting, which is also called political conmanship. He beats them in a deficit of trust. Because when leaders sit down and see a statesman in you, and see a head of state in you, and say, hey, we are going to support you as one of our brother, then you go behind them, you do a handshake, and you hear money changed hands. Are you getting me? What is that? Total deficit of trust. We don't want a head of state who cannot follow the rule of law. We don't want a head of state who can even have the guts to swear himself in. That is a recipe for violence and civil war. So Kenyans must look at all these things and analyze them before they just get excited that someone outsmarts the others. This issue of election, violence, bloodshed, then handshake must end. Election,
your closing remarks.
Violence, bloodshed, then handshake must end.
Your closing remarks.
Our closing remark, or rather my closing remark, is that Kenya is facing a landmark election come this year, August. And as Kenyans, we must give ourselves the leaders that we feel we deserve.
All right.
Not the ones that talk the loudest, not the ones that pull the biggest crowds, but leaders that care for our nation and leaders that will offer leadership, not just empty politics.
Ruth, your closing remarks in just 30 seconds, kindly. All right, I'm being told, Ruth and Mark Bichachi, our time is up. Sorry, thank you, my director. She's telling me. Lazima tutoke hapa. Thank you, Day. Now, the views prescribed on this show are strictly individual views and do not portray the views of Switch TV. My name is Frederick Muitiriri. My sign language interpreters tonight, Teresia Washira, and of course, Tracy. All right, for myself and everyone here, of course, Mark Bichachi, our political analyst tonight and political commentator, communication strategist, Ruth Ambogo, youth policy analyst, and of course, many thanks. Asante Sana Simon, who is the SecGen of ANC party. Until next week on Thursday,